I love you. It started with 3 words in a subject line. In May 2000, people around the world opened their inboxes to find an email that said simply, I love you. Attached was a file named love-letter-for-you.txt, a visual basic script disguised as a harmless text document. Curious, flattered, or just careless, millions of people clicked it. The moment it opened, the script came alive. It overwrote images, documents, and media files across the system, replacing them silently with copies of itself. Then it went straight for the contact list. The virus didn't need to hack anything. It just needed people to trust a message that looked personal. Within days, it had spread to tens of millions of computers across the globe. Companies and government agencies shut down their entire email systems just to stop it from moving further. The damage ran into billions. I Love You didn't win because it was sophisticated. It won because it understood people better than most malware ever has. Melissa, a year before I Love You, a different virus proved that email was the most dangerous weapon a hacker could use. In March 1999, a Word document began circulating online. It promised something most people couldn't resist: a list of passwords to adult websites. All you had to do was open the file. Once you did, it accessed Microsoft Outlook and sent the infected file to the first 50 contacts in your address book. No warning, no confirmation, just gone. The problem was the math. If you had 50 contacts, the worm sent 50 emails. Within hours, the multiplication was catastrophic. Corporate mail servers flooded and collapsed. Microsoft shut down its own email infrastructure. Governments went offline. Melissa didn't encrypt files or steal passwords. It just multiplied, faster than anyone had seen before. It was the first proof that a virus didn't need to be destructive to be devastating. All it needed was a network of people who trusted their inbox. Stuxnet. Everything on this list wanted to cause damage. Stuxnet was the first one engineered to cause physical destruction. Discovered in 2010, Stuxnet was not ordinary malware. It was a precision weapon, built to target a single type of machine, in a single facility, in a single country. The target was Iran's nuclear enrichment program, specifically the centrifuges at the Natanz facility used to enrich uranium. Stuxnet traveled on USB drives, slipping through air-gapped systems that had no internet connection at all. On every other system, it sat dormant, but on the right machines, it activated. It didn't crash the centrifuges immediately. Instead, it sent false commands that caused them to spin at incorrect speeds, fast enough to cause wear and damage, while simultaneously feeding the operators fake sensor data that showed everything was running normally. Machines were tearing themselves apart, and the engineers watching the monitors had no idea. By the time it was discovered, Stuxnet had set Iran's nuclear program back by years. It is widely believed to have been developed by the United States and Israel, though neither has officially confirmed it. Stuxnet crossed a line no malware had crossed before, from digital disruption into the physical world. BonziBuddy. Not every threat looked like a threat. Some of them looked like a toy. In the early 2000s, a purple cartoon gorilla began appearing on home computers across the internet. His name was BonziBuddy. He waved when the PC turned on. He cracked jokes. He sang songs. He offered to help people browse the web, send emails, and navigate basic computer tasks. For a lot of kids, he didn't feel like software at all. He felt like a strange little friend living inside the screen. That was the trap. Behind the goofy voice and cheerful animations, BonziBuddy was quietly doing what a lot of users didn't fully understand yet: collecting data, tracking browsing habits, and flooding the system with intrusive ads. It monitored how people use their computers, and because it presented itself as helpful, many people let it stay far longer than they should have. The damage wasn't dramatic in the way ransomware was dramatic. No red warning screen, no locked files, no countdown timer. Just a computer that kept getting slower, noisier, and harder to trust, while a smiling purple gorilla acted like everything was normal. It just had to live inside it, watch what you were doing, and make itself annoying enough that you noticed something was wrong, but not always obvious enough to remove immediately. Eventually, antivirus tools began flagging it as spyware. Parents deleted it. Schools blocked it. Regulators stepped in. BonziBuddy didn't terrorize the screen. It normalized being watched. MyDoom. In January 2004, a new worm appeared. Within 24 hours, it was generating one in every 4 emails sent on the entire internet. MyDoom spread through email attachments disguised as error messages, delivery failures, or messages from real contacts. Because the emails appeared to come from addresses the recipient already knew, people opened them in documents, cache files, address books, and sent itself to all of them. But MyDoom wasn't just spreading, it was building something. Coordinated DDoS attacks flooded major websites with so much traffic that they collapsed. Companies were knocked offline for days. MyDoom also opened a backdoor on every system it touched, leaving a permanent entry point that attackers could use long after the initial outbreak. At its peak, it caused an estimated $38 billion in damage, making it one of the most costly cyber attacks in history. And the person who wrote it was never caught. You are an idiot. Some malware wanted your money. Some wanted your files. This one just wanted to make you suffer. In the early 2000s, internet users began running into a piece of malware with one of the bluntest names ever made. You are an idiot. It usually appeared after visiting the wrong website. No warning, no fake download, no suspicious attachment. One bad click was enough. The moment it loaded, the screen erupted. Pop-up windows flooded the desktop, each one flashing the same mocking phrase again and again. You are an idiot. Smiling faces bounced around the screen while the sound looped endlessly in the background. Close one window, and several more instantly replaced it. Within seconds, the computer became almost impossible to use. Memory usage spiked. The processor maxed out. Everything slowed to a crawl. For many users, the machine didn't just feel infected, it felt hijacked. That was what made it memorable. It didn't steal data. It didn't encrypt files. It weaponized irritation. It overwhelmed the user, trapped them in a cycle of forced clicks and failed attempts to regain control, and turned the computer into its own form of psychological attack. It didn't want your system. It wanted your frustration. Conficker. Most malware wants you to know it's there. Conficker didn't. It arrived in 2008, slipping quietly through a vulnerability in Windows that Microsoft had only just patched. If you hadn't updated your system, and millions hadn't, it got in without making a sound. No pop-ups, no ransom note, no visible sign that anything was wrong. Once inside, Conficker locked down the infected machine in subtle ways. It disabled Windows updates so patches couldn't be applied. It blocked access to antivirus websites so the infection couldn't be identified or removed. And it connected the machine to a global network of infected computers, a botnet that, at its peak, contained over 15 million systems. An unusual alliance of governments, tech companies, and researchers, just to track and contain it. They found that Conficker was checking in with command servers every day, waiting for instructions that never fully came. The worst part? Most people who were infected never knew. Their computers ran a little slower, maybe. A website they visited occasionally wouldn't load. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that would make someone think to look deeper. Conficker was proof that the most dangerous infections are the ones you never see. Petya. Most ransomware locks your files. Petya locked the machine itself. When Petya appeared in 2016, it introduced a far nastier idea. Instead of encrypting documents one by one, it went after the master boot record, the part of the hard drive your computer needs just to start it all. If that was taken over, the damage ran deeper than lost files. The entire system was effectively held hostage before Windows could even load, and Petya didn't reveal itself immediately. First, the infected computer restarted like something routine was happening. Then a fake disk check screen appeared, the kind most users had seen before and ignored. White text, progress bar. Nothing unusual. It looked like the machine was repairing itself. It wasn't repairing anything. Behind that fake screen, Petya was rewriting the system's most critical startup structures and encrypting the file table that told the computer where everything was stored. By the time the process finished, the machine no longer belonged to the user. Then came the reveal. A skull appeared on the screen, followed by a ransom demand in Bitcoin. No payment, no recovery, no access to anything. Documents, applications, the operating system itself, all of it was now out of reach. What made Petya so frightening was the way it attacked trust. It disguised destruction as maintenance. It made the computer look calm right up until the moment it became unusable. And when later variants like Petya spread through compromised software updates and ripped through corporate networks, the damage went far beyond extortion. Offices went dark. Operations stopped. For many victims, this wasn't really ransomware at all. It was sabotage disguised as ransomware. WannaCry. On the morning of May 12, 2017, offices around the world opened like normal. Then computers started going dark. WannaCry was ransomware, but unlike anything seen before, it didn't need anyone to click a link or open an attachment. It spread automatically. Once inside, it encrypted everything. Documents, photos, spreadsheets, databases, all locked behind military-grade encryption. In their place, a red ransom screen, a Bitcoin address, and a countdown timer. Pay within 3 days or the price doubles. Wait too long and the files are gone forever. Hospitals in the UK were forced to turn away patients. Factories ground to a halt. Banks, universities, and government ministries across 150 countries all fell within hours of each other. What made it so effective was what it exploited: a vulnerability in Windows that had already been identified by the NSA, stolen from them by hackers, and then released publicly. Microsoft had issued a patch. Most systems hadn't applied it. The outbreak only slowed when a 22-year-old security researcher noticed a strange domain name buried in the code. He registered it for $10.69. It was the kill switch. Within minutes, new infections stopped. But by then, over 200,000 computers across the globe had already been hit. MEMZ. Every other virus on this list arrived uninvited. This one you ran yourself. MEMZ appeared in 2016, created as a demonstration of how completely software could take over a system. Before it ran, it displayed 2 warning messages: explicit, direct, impossible to miss. They said, "This will cause serious and irreversible damage to your computer. Do not proceed unless you know what you're doing." Most people clicked yes anyway. The first few seconds seemed almost playful. Random pop-ups appeared. Windows shuffled across the screen on their own. Colors inverted. System sounds fired without reason. It was chaotic but manageable. Then it escalated. Keyboard input stopped working properly. The screen began glitching harder. Windows commands stopped responding, while keeping it just alive enough that you had to keep watching. At the very end, MEMZ executed its final move. It overwrote the master boot record, and the computer became a brick. On reboot, instead of Windows loading, the screen displayed the MEMZ logo and a short, final message. Your computer is now dead. MEMZ didn't steal anything. It didn't ask for money. It just wanted to show you exactly how much control you'd handed over the moment you clicked yes.